still stays. We fought it out through the long, hard days. From spring ball till the final down. Blood, sweat, and tears on hallowed ground. From the trenches to the long end zone. Joe Wilson Field, that's what greatness shows. Cleats on the turf, hearts in the fight. We gave it all under Friday night lights. Hear that Viking horn calling loud. We hit the field to make our hometown proud. Every touchdown, all the records we broke. Legends rose while pretenders choke. Referee whistle and the place stops cold. Band's too loud, that's what we told. Coaches calls and the fans loud roar. Wintersville, we're all living for. Replays burn on the screen so bright. Heroes rise in the heat of the night. Bridgman jamming and the bass gets low. Welcome to the palace, welcome to the show. Hear that Viking horn, it's calling loud. We hit the field to make our hometown proud. Every title, every ring we chase. Title town, you gotta love this place. Roll the tape, let the big plays fly. Call the shots that lit the sky. Win or lose, we bet our soul. That's the heartbeat, that's the goal. Now the final whistles ringing strong. We raise our voices, sing it loud and long. Touchdowns made and the Giants fell. This is the story we'll always tell. Hear that Viking horn calling loud. We break it down to make our hometown proud. Every title, every ring we chase. Title town, you gotta love this place. Crimson and white, the standard we fly. Thursday night show got the whole town high. LG on the mic, set the tone just right. Coaches moves, how we win the fight. Professors knowledge, let's keep it gritty. Make the call. Vikings by today. Hear that Viking horn calling loud. We break it down to make our hometown proud. Every title, every ring we chase. Title town, you gotta love this place. Victory song in the afterglow. It's the Viking Nation. Bam, bam. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. What's up, Titletown? It's the opening Thursday night edition of the Viking Nation Live, and it's time to awaken the nation. Can you believe football season is here? It's right around the corner. No, it's not even right around the corner. It's just right around the bend. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that big light on the freight train is coming around. That train is painted crimson and white, and we're on a collision course with it. Do you know how we do that around here? It's Thursday night, baby. It's time for the Viking Nation Live. You guys have been waiting all off season for this show tonight. Welcome back to all you beautiful people all across Viking. Listen, you just heard me call all you people beautiful. I don't care what you look like. As long as you have crimson or white on, you are beautiful people. It's been a long off season, right? Filled with lots of movement. That's a good word for what's happened during the off season, right? Movement. Filled with lots of movement from assistant coaches making moves, players making moves. This is kind of the new normal, it looks like, for football at Lowndes. Not just Lowndes, but high school football in general is filled with moves. Whether you're talking about transfers of players, transfers of assistant coaches, transfers of head coaches all across the state of Georgia. Movement now happens during the off season, and Lowndes is not immune to it. That's the new normal. You know, I remember the days of Randy Mack when he was surrounded by longtime assistant coaches. You guys remember those days? Just wasn't too long ago. seemed like we had the same assistant coaches for like 10, 15, 20 years. Every once in a while, you'd get a new one in because somebody got promoted or wanted to move off, that kind of stuff. But nowadays, it just seems like that is just par for the course. Everybody wants to move. So if you get an assistant coach who's been with your program for 3 years, that's a major win. And why is that important? Because every time a coach moves, whether it's an assistant or a head coach, that introduces disruption to your program and instability. And so that's what modern day head coaches have to face year in year. So that's just part of the job nowadays, I suppose. But why is that movement so important for our community, for players and players' parents to acknowledge this new reality? You have to figure out. I thought long and hard about how I was going to say this, right? So you guys know I'm going to be as tactful as I can. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus or make accusatory remarks or whatever. But I think our fan base, our lounge community, is at a crossroads. I really do. For the community as a whole, for the Lowndes Viking Nation, for players' parents, for assistant coaches, head coach, everybody involved. I think we're at a crossroads, and we have to figure out who we are and if loyalty is alive or if it's dead. And I started thinking about loyalty in high school football, especially with the advent of so many transfers that we hear in the offseason now. You guys have heard about all the profile transfers, right? All across the state, but other players and coaches and other folks are that's related to high school football. They're moving around as well. So I think as a community, we started, especially if you're a player's family, you got to start asking yourself, who are you loyal to? And I think the right answer is you have to be loyal to your community and your program, not necessarily um, assistant coaches or administrators or principals or anybody else that's involved because they're all part of the community as well. You have to be loyal to a community and a program. And we're seeing a lot less loyalty nowadays with the advent of transfers. Let me give you an example. Do you remember? Not this is not a lounge story, but several years ago there was a player, high profile player, that transferred right at. I think it was it the sport of baseball. Might have been baseball or football. I think it was baseball. A player left his team right at the start of the playoffs, went to another team, and when the playoffs were over, came back to the original school that it was at. To me, that's not loyalty, right? That is just players trying to transfer to take advantage of a situation, that kind of stuff. So and that kind of stuff happens a lot more now. Assistant coach leaves a program, a player follows that assistant coach. So that player was probably never loyal to the community and program. They were more loyal to an assistant coach. So uh, I think everybody has got to start checking their loyalty quotient or quota, if you will. Now, that also applies to a fan base, especially when questions start to surround a program like we've had a lot of questions surrounding our program in the offseason. Let's be honest, okay? We have. We've had a lot of questions around the program. And it came to light when, or it came to the surface when we had a superstar wide receiver, Bubba Brown, transfer out of the program. So questions start asking when things like that hit the headlines. And I don't have the answer for that. Maybe you guys do, and you're free to throw your comments into the comment line there. But I think we got to get back to the basics as a community and start remembering who we are loyal to. We are loyal to Lowndes, the community, the program, and so coaches come and go, but we're still here to pick up the pieces after everybody leaves, right? Hey, special shout out to Wes James. Went through some health challenges a few weeks ago. We put Wes's story up on the Viking Nation Facebook, asking folks to donate to his medical care, especially post surgery care. If you felt led to do that, so Wes, I'm glad you're tuning in tonight. So greetings to you up there in Nashville, Tennessee, man. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight. If you guys are new to the Viking Nation, you recognize that name. Wes James was a long time voice of the Vikings with the radio broadcast crew. So welcome aboard, Wes. Glad you're tuning in. So let's go to the comment line. Russell Harrison Sr. checking in tonight. People love transfers coming in, but cry when they leave, and that's everywhere. That's true. Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Now, Russell, I'm a little bit different. That's the obvious statement, right? I'm a little bit different when it comes to transfers. I don't mind transfers coming in. I don't mind transfers leaving, that kind of stuff. What I mind is um, transfers that want to come in to be a part of our community. What I don't like is transfers coming in just to play a year or two, and then they and the family decide to leave after that. We know that they were never loyal to the community, right, or to the program. That's the problem that I have with, because I'm a community guy. I, I I grew up in the not I didn't grow up this, but a lot of these kids, I've watched them grow up. Many of them are members of our church. And you see, you develop relationships with their parents and with the kids. Our kids grew up with their kids, that kind of stuff. And it's fun to watch these kids grow up as Vikings all through elementary school, middle school, play middle school ball, finally hit the field on the varsity level. And it's really fun to watch all these local kids. And if a kid wants to come in and transfer to the Lounge program, that's fine, as long as they and their family are plugged into the community and integrated and want to stay here. That's really where I love it. So let me go ahead and bring in one of our super fans, Armand Rashad. Armand, how are you, bud?
Man, I'm trying to get this gimmick up, but I was
It's the
prepared.
it's the preseason, man. Hey, we're trying to figure things out as we go as well, you know?
Yeah, I was prepared for a special treat we got coming for y'all. But you know what? Since we get to do it the regular way, I got my popcorn ready. Um, because these last 2 weeks have been entertaining, to say the least. So yeah,
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. So, Armand, you heard me talk about in my monologue, the state of the program. I didn't really talk about the state of the program, but some of the issues that's going on. The biggest thing was Bubba Brown transferring out. Now, fortunately for us, we've got some other very talented wide receivers to step up into his place, right?
yeah,
Jody Hewitt says, my mic sounds mute and Armand is louder than. Can you hear me, Armand?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Um,
I just turned my mic up a little bit more. So hopefully that will. Jody, is that better? I mean, I just turned my mic way up. So hopefully that is better. If not, I'll switch mixer boards by next week. TB says there's some feedback. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
we're gonna get it
We'll
together.
just adjust the knobs, that kind of stuff. Uh, Tierra, if you'll let me know if that's a little bit better with the feedback, that kind of stuff, I'll keep. Jody says that's better. Um, so Armand, what's your take on some of the issues that's going on with Lions football right now?
I mean, is it an issue? Maybe not. It might just be the norm of society.
Mhm.
Anytime you lose anybody like Bubba Brown, a name like that, 4-star receiver, 4-star basketball player,
Right.
um, top 100 ESPN junior, that's gonna make some waves. Is it to come off your loyalty thing? Like me, I'm born and raised in Valdosta, Georgia.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to put this on. Um, and I could never see myself playing at another school or even rooting for another school.
Yeah.
Um, that's just me personally. I don't expect anybody else to feel how I feel, but I understand where you're coming from. Um, And I think that, like you're gonna have some transfers come and go. We live in a military town. Um, you have some people, who are nowadays, and when you think about it, it's just the culture of football itself.
Yeah.
Just look at those youth leagues. You'll have kids bounce from team to team to team just because their parents think it's more advantageous. You'll have parents that will you'll have parents that will reclass or hold their children back a grade just so they can, be at a better, um, have some type of competitive edge, and the kid might be all right, but they'll hold, so you have all these things that parents are doing.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really blame the kid. It's the parents. So
I got you. Okay. So let's talk about, some assistants that have moved out of the program, other assistants that have moved into the program. So we've had some high profile assistant coaches leaving. JD Sellers moving back
yeah,
to Baxley up there in Appleton County, took over the head coaching job. Christopher Reese moving back up north. I cannot remember what program he went to in the metro Atlanta area, but
he
he's
went to
moved back
Grayson.
up north. Was that?
He went to Grayson.
That's right. That's right. Went to
He went
Grayson.
to Grayson. Yeah.
And defensive backs coach Josh Norwood, an up and coming, I believe, superstar coach at the high school ranks. I think this kid, this I shouldn't call him a kid anymore. This guy, Josh Norwood, is such a talented coach. I think if he wanted to, he could make the move to college and really, really excel there as a college coach. But he has moved over to Valwood, along with a few of our Lowndes players as well, going to Valwood. So those were the three high profile assistants. I think we had a couple more to exit the program. Now moving in, the biggest name is a guy named Tyler Carlton, new offensive coordinator for that Lowndes offense. We're going to see what Coach Carlton is all about. He's from Oklahoma originally, his hometown. I can't pronounce his hometown. I think it's Sapulpa,
I,
Oklahoma.
I lived in Oklahoma for 3 years. Never really want to go back there, but nevertheless, it's I can't. That might be the name of it. I have no idea.
That's right. Well, he went to college at University of Tulsa and also earned his master's degree at Clemson University. So he stuck around Clemson, and I think he was a GA, and he might have been a quality control coach as well. Went to Western Carolina, spent a few years there. Came to the. I think he went to. Was he at Wofford College? I think he spent 3 years at Wofford College. So he learned a lot of college-based offensive spread systems, that kind of stuff. And so he comes to Lowndes High School to basically revamp that Lowndes offense. Because I can't imagine an offensive minded college coach that has been training quarterbacks at the college level and running and implementing spread systems with multiple position um, packages, that kind of stuff. I can't imagine he would just come back to the high school level just to run a ground and pound type of system.
Well, it just depends on the type of coach Coach Carter is. How involved is he with the offense? People. I give
Can
you.
I tell you? Can I give you an honest opinion?
Yeah,
Coach Carter is he specializes in defense. In
yeah.
my humble opinion, he needs to turn the offense over to Coach Carlton.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I was getting ready to say, is he really just gonna turn the show over to Coach Carlton? I don't know, but then again, I don't know exactly how it was last year. You
Yeah,
know, but I, when it comes to Coach Carlton, I don't really have enough sample size to kind of go look at the offenses that he ran.
that's right.
Um, but coming down here to lounge, you got Jace, you got Mason Woods, you still got KT, you got
Yeah,
Weidinger. I mean, we got the one guy in the slot. Cannot remember his name for nothing. It escapes me right now. But and you got Eisenhower. So you have talent. Um, you have talent throughout on every level. So how are they going to do that? I don't know. And then to mention that everybody knows that Jace is coming off an injury. how prepared is Jace going to be? Is he a full go at practice? We
Right.
don't know. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of unknowns when it comes to the offense, and I'm I'm anxious. That's why I said, I got the
Yeah.
popcorn ready. Because these next coming weeks, I can't wait to see exactly what's it going to be. So
Man, I was preparing, setting equipment up, things like that, and I forgot some of these details. Like, man, I got to turn the Viking head windscreen cover on the mic around so people could see that beautiful thing. Look at that, Viking Nation. So, anyway, Kobe Strawder says, I 100% agree. Coach the team as a whole and let your specialty coaches do what they do best. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about what Lowndes has been up to. Acclimation period just completed last week. Lowndes has been doing a lot of work during the off season. And you know what? Just about every program across the state has, right? So that is the standard now for every, if you talk to every fan base, whether it's Lowndes or Valdosta or Lee County or Coffee County or plug in a team name and you ask them to the person, why do you think your team is going to do well this year? Do you know what they always say? Man, because they have been working so
yeah,
hard. Every team works hard during the offseason, right?
yeah, yeah.
What do teams do beyond work hard is those little nuanced details is usually what separates the championship team from everybody else.
And it's like, so even though everybody's working hard, are they working hard together?
Correct.
That's the key word. They have to be together. They have to be on one accord. By this group here, I believe this is going to Coach Carter's what, fourth year?
Fourth year. Yep.
Yeah, so those freshmen are now seniors.
Yeah.
And so now they've been working together. So how are they gelling? Like, and listen, I think Coach Reese was there for 4 years. Coach Norwood was there for two. And so when you have those coaching changes, how are these kids going to adapt to that?
Right.
I won't even lie. Josh Norwood, even though he went to their school over there on Forest Street, they used to be on Forest Street. He is the DB whisperer. All of his DBs got went to college.
Yeah.
Um,
I got a
went to college.
question for you about Josh
Yeah.
Norwood.
Hmm.
So, and Hunter Holt as well. Hunter Holt is still an assistant with Lowndes,
Hmm.
but grew up a Wildcat, played for the Wildcats, that kind of stuff. We like to say that once a Viking, always a Viking. Does it apply to those guys?
Uh,
So, Josh Norwood, you were once a Viking. Are you always a Viking?
For me, yeah, yeah. For me, yeah. Is because look, I love Josh, man. Josh is my guy. Um, Real humble, real approachable, and he's a coach, and he loves those kids. And you can tell from even when he coaches he coaches a little league team.
Yeah.
Um, and even just how those players gravitate towards him, and that's big. You know what I mean? Like that's something that you can't replace, right? So when I don't know who the new defensive back coach is, uh, but that's those are some huge shoes he's going to have to fill. And
Yeah.
it's not the actual coaching; it's the getting the kids to buy into you. You know,
It, yeah. One of another high profile assistant that came in is Coach Chris Barton. He is the assistant head coach, and the position group that he coaches are the Rovers.
okay,
So for those non-football speaking fans out there, these rover backs are basically hybrid positions that they're hybrid safety slash outside linebackers, right? And in Coach Carter's system, it makes a lot of sense to bring a rover coach into be in charge over that position group. So that's going to be a big deal, a big deal. So we're gonna have to keep a close eye on Coach Barton, see what he does with that group. This is Adam Carter's fourth year into the program. He has well solidified the 3-3 stack into Lowndes lexicon. Like it or not, it's here. As long as Coach Carter's here, it's here. So you might as well learn about it, love it, that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Barton is able to do with that rover back position.
Yeah, that and the rover plays uh intricate part of that defense.
Hmm.
And you ask a lot of that position. You ask them to cover. You ask them to set the edge. You ask for
Yep.
them to you know, a lot of times making adjustments. They're going to be on probably the fastest guy on the field because they're going to be in the slot, covering that guy in the slot. So you have to. There's a lot of trust that goes into that, and if you have somebody that's just specializing in coaching that one position, then great. You know, but only time will tell to see if it pays off. So
Right. So it's obvious that Lowndes has put in a lot of work during the off season. So let's talk about where they were, where they're headed. So they finished last 2 years. I believe the last 2 years were both finished 10-2 consecutive seasons, right? I think
yep.
that's right. So
Mhm.
both ended, however, in second round playoffs, and both of those losses were bad. They were just bad second round losses. That's just the way it was.
Yeah.
So that makes the theme of this camp fairly obvious, turning a regular season success into a deeper postseason run. You know, Adam Carter did an interview with our buddy Phil Jones at ITG Next, and Phil asked him, "What's your goal this year?" You know what he said?
What is that?
He said, "I want to make sure I get this quote right." So he made his goal very clear. He said, "Our expectations are to win Region One and play on Thanksgiving." That's a pretty good goal.
And playing on Thanksgiving, that's the state championship.
That's semifinals.
Some okay.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't say the goal is to play for the state championship, but you know, that's a really lofty goal, especially if you are coming off of two consecutive second round playoff exits. So to play on Thanksgiving, that's an additional two rounds. That's pretty good progress.
Yeah,
But
but
you're not buying what I'm selling.
nah, nah. Listen, the goal is always to win the state championship. If your goal is not to win the state championship, and it does not matter. Who was the worst team in the NFL? Um,
Some would say the Atlanta Falcons.
okay, I guarantee you, their goal is to win the Super Bowl. Even
I'm
though
not sure you're too sure about that, man.
listen,
I don't
listen.
know.
Sorry, you Falcons fans, but you know, I put it to you like this: even our Cowboys, our beloved Cowboys,
Yeah,
goal every year is to win the Super Bowl. I'm guarantee you, every power four conference member's goal is to win their conference and to win the
yeah,
national championships. Listen, I don't know about y'all. I don't like to compete. I want to dominate. Right? I'm not here just to have a good time as a
sure.
player. You know, me, I'm like, wait, just play on Thanksgiving? No, we got to.
So, listen, I understand what you're saying, but I think you're mincing words. You
I
know,
am.
I understand what he's saying there. I mean, he didn't come out and say my goal is to win a state, but I think that's what he meant. That's a pretty bold statement. We're going to still be playing for on Thanksgiving. Not many teams do that. I mean, if you're playing on Thanksgiving week, you're in the Final Four. That's top four program in the state.
I get that, but it's 15 games.
Yeah,
My goal is to go 15 and 0.
I get it. I get it. But
And
your goal is also Lowndes by 50. I get it. I get it.
look, look, I'm a realist.
All right. All right. So, okay. So here's the obvious question. Okay. So, does Lowndes have the horsepower to do it? Whether it's the goal, tomato, tomato, whether it's to play on Thanksgiving or one extra week state championship, does Lowndes have the horsepower to do it? Especially, let's be honest, we've had a number of players to leave the program over the offseason, right?
Mhm.
So it's going to be interesting the first Friday night, how many players we're going to see on that sideline. I don't know the exact number. I've heard we've lost a couple dozen. I've heard we've lost a handful. I don't know what the true number is, but we'll see. We'll see on Friday night. But with that said, does Lowndes have the horsepower to make it to the semifinal round, to the championship round? Before you answer that, let me give you some stats. Last year, our guys scored 434 points. That's a lot. So we're going to do a lot. We're going to score a lot this year. I'm not worried about the offense at all. Majority of the offensive line's coming back. Jason's going to come back. Bubba's exited the program, but guys like Kayvon Thomas is going to step up to the plate. I think JJ Rose still here, or did he graduate last year?
Not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember. But you got Mason Woods coming out of the backfield. So Lowndes offense is not going to have a problem scoring points, especially if they run the type of offense that I think Coach Carlton and that offense is putting together. I think they're not going to have problems scoring. Okay. Here's the issue. Last year, Lowndes held opponents to 159 points over 12 games. That's a pretty good,
Mhm.
right? That's basically 2 touchdowns a game. Here's the issue that I saw when I actually broke down the games at the end of the season, right? So our average was 13 points a game. So in the last handful of games, we gave up 23 to uh, Richmond Hill, 23 to Valdosta, 29 to North Gwinnett. That's considerably more than our average. Okay. So when we saw the defense grow through last season, we were all looking at that defense saying they got better and better and better. But at the end of the season, when we faced tougher programs, tougher teams, that's when we gave up the most points of the season. And that's what I'm concerned about because we graduated a lot of those defenders from last year's team, right? And we're
Yeah.
plugging in a lot of new faces this year. Do we have the horses to run the defense and to get better as the season progresses? What say you?
I want to say yes, we do. But as of right now, it's unknown. The one thing I can tell you that we're better at is we actually do have what appears to be two quality backup quarterbacks if Jason's ready to go. And so the offense doesn't seem like it's going to be, what we could reterm as a Hydra offense. Now, defense is where I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be Mr. Allen, number 90 on the defensive line. You got Marcus Vaughn playing linebacker, and then you got Treadwell and Israel Thomas, Izzy Thomas. Learn these names, people, because these are who is going to solidify the defense. These are all returning starters and contributors to Lounge. So what I'm saying is this: defense. The defense last year allowed us to be in games, right?
Yeah.
They allowed us to be there and have a shot to win. Even like we gave up those 29 points to North Gwinnett, the defense at at one point in time, at one point in time, give me 1 second. Hold on. Hey, sit down. Leave him alone. I got him. He's okay. I'm sorry. She's trying to get the dog out. He don't want to go. Ace. I'm sorry, but the defense themselves. Leave him alone. Just go. Um, I'm sorry, um, but the defense themselves gave them enough time to be there,
Yeah.
gave them a chance to be there, and they are going to be okay. I think the defense is going to be good. I think that offense, because you got a new coordinator,
Yeah.
new going to be some new terminology. That's where it's going
Sure.
to be. So
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to have some challenges. I think the schedule is going to take care of that. At least it's going to allow us to grow some because no one's expecting Jenkins or Harrison or Blanche Eli to really challenge us that much. I hope they do. I really hope they challenge us and keeps it close because I think we need those reps in some pressure packed situation to help us grow even faster. I mean, if we start rolling over these guys 50 to nothing and it's early third quarter and we're subbing our starters for second and third string guys, which is fine. But with such a young group on defense, I hope we get as many reps as we can, especially early on.
I'm with you because that's where you develop.
Yeah.
You know, like it's okay for me, and this is what I've mentioned the last few years when people have looked at our schedule and said, "Hey, it's a soft
Yeah.
schedule" or whatever you want to say. That's okay if you're able to actually get those second and third guys in there,
That's right.
and you got to get them at a point in the game where you can actually run your full offense and and pretty much play your base defense and get those guys those quality reps. That's what it means. And if you're not able to do that and build that depth, because that's what it's for. That's what you hope for. That by the fourth quarter, you're able to sit your starters down, and you got the second and third team going in there and building that depth. You know, you got it's a what's Coach Milt Miller used to always say, "Hey, you need reps.
Yeah.
You need reps, and not just the reps that mental reps. You need to actually get out there and get in the game. That's why I'm a big proponent of having freshmen dress out on Friday
Yeah.
nights because if you're up big, guess what? You get those freshmen in the game,
Yeah.
and so when they get out there, they're not intimidated under the lights. So that's what it's gonna come down to is actually can we get the reps? Can we build the depth? So by the time we get to the end of the season, because we all know football is a war of attrition.
That's right.
Can if somebody goes down, do we have somebody we could plug in that already has experience and not
Yeah.
just getting it the first time when it's we're playing software and it's the third quarter and we're up by 4 or 3 or down. But so that's what we always hope for. So
That's right. So let's go to the comment line. You guys are lively. The other wide receiver, I can't believe I forgot about Izzy Harrison. Israel Harrison.
yeah.
Yeah. So we expect Izzy to step up, make some big league contributions
Wait,
this fall.
Izzy plays defensive back now.
Oh, does
He's
he?
playing safety. Yeah. So he was playing that rover outside linebacker position, him and Treadwell, and they moved him back to the back end of the defense. So they're gonna hold it down. Trust me on this one. I'm putting big money. I would put big money on Izzy and Treadwell having a huge year.
That's right. So let me go ahead and address something that we could keep going back and forth on. There's some fans going back and forth, and I get it, guys. Uh, y'all do have to remember that before it gets out of hand, that you all are Viking fans. Okay. And at the end of the day, you're still going to be Viking fans. There's so many bad things going on in the world right now. Don't worry about this transfer stuff. That's going to play itself out. If if a handful of kids has left, okay. If a lot of kids have left, okay. It is what it is, right? As fans, we can't do anything about it. So is Carter to blame? Is he not to blame? Do kids just want to leave because they're not getting playing time? We don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We just really don't. That kind of stuff will take care of itself, right? If Coach Carter does a bad job, then we'll get another coach. If he does a great job, then he's going to be here for a while. That kind of stuff will take care of itself. While the guy's here, I'm going to cheer for this team. And I hope he does well because if he does well, then our team is doing well. If he does poorly, then, we'll have to make some changes. But don't get into the habit of going back and forth and because that's when emotions take over, right? And so I would just ask you, uh, that's why I started this show tonight about talking about loyalty to a community and loyalty to a program. Part of that community is you guys. So be loyal to each other. You can have disagreements. You can call each other privately and figure out why some players are leaving or more players are leaving. Whatever the situation is, because I've heard all the rumors like you guys have. But you know what? We're not there behind the scenes. So, you know, this kind of stuff will just take care of itself. All right. Um,
And Larry, that's why I said get your popcorn ready, right?
yeah, that's right. That's
At
right.
the beginning of the show. And listen, y'all guys are right in the comment section to a certain extent. Like kids are going to transfer in, kids are going to transfer out. If your kid's not playing and you decide, hey, you know what? I think it's a better opportunity for him to develop at this this school or some other school, then I get it. I totally understand. You know, everybody wants to play.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you want your kid to play. But also, um, if your kid's a freshman and he hasn't proven anything, and he's not playing on Friday nights, don't be that parent that says, "Oh, he's good enough to play Friday nights, so he's not playing as a freshman. I'm taking him somewhere else." No, let him get in there. Let him develop, because chances are, like nowadays, we're not even at practice. Parents don't even get to go to practice. We're not at practice. We're not at the meetings. We don't know exactly what's going on. So for me, I'm going to root for my Vikings. They going to whatever 11 go out there on offense, defense, special teams, and the 40 to 60 that are standing on the sidelines. That's who I'm cheering for. And like you, Larry, like this community, the Viking Nation, is like none other. And I would say that I am happy, I am proud to be a part of the Viking Nation. And I want to win just like everybody else too. But at the same time, I try to look at it from try to take out the crimson tinted lens and look at it from an objective point of view.
That's
And
right.
that's the difficult part about coming on here every week, is not to be the homer that I that I really want to be.
That's right.
Even though I say Vikes by 50, and I'm always gonna say Vikes by 50. Uh, I'm still realistic if you actually listen to my when you ask me about an opponent and what Lounge has to do. So listen, guys, this is the first of many, and I love it. I'm reading the comment section,
Yeah.
and I got my popcorn. Uh, maybe this should be a staple, but I got my popcorn, and I'm enjoying the discourse because it has been far too long since we got to talk about our Vikings.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I appreciate the lively back and forth. I really do. I can even put up with you guys arguing on occasion because that proves to me that you still care enough to argue about it. But once you have your say, just move on, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the offense. We talked about, um, I made the statement that I'm not worried about Lowndes' offense at all. And here's why. So we have all world 4-star quarterback Jace Johnson coming back for his senior year. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? We'll have to wait and see. I think he's going to play. Now, if you guys don't know what we did, Jace I think he had surgery or an injury, something like that in the off season. There was some speculation whether or not he was going to make it back in time for the start of season. Some people said he wasn't going to make it back until the region play started, right? We've been told that he is going to start. He's been practicing with the team, so we will see next Friday night. Next Friday night is a preseason game, so if he is good to go, I would put him in there for a couple of series just to get some rust, uh, out of the way. But then I would protect him as much as possible and get your second string guy in there and get him as many reps as you can. So we've got Jace there. Now we were expecting Bubba Brown to be his go-to guy, but like we said, he's transferred out. We've got Kayvon Thomas, Mason Woods. Mason is projected to have an outstanding year this year. I'm expecting big things from that little dynamite package that wears number 3 in the backfield.
Listen, let me just say this about Mason. Um, what Mason did last year was unbelievable. 1,300 yards rushing in 12 games, right? So he averaged well over 100 yards a game. Mason would come in, and he had the Parrish effect. So you remember the year before, well, like we need a big play.
Yep.
Boom, Marvis up the
Yep.
side up the middle, touchdown. He had that same effect on the ball game. And Mason, who's getting those offers now, they're starting to roll in,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. Mason Woods, listen, teams are going to focus on him, right? Um, and they're also, of course, are going to focus on Jace.
Yeah.
That should allow opportunities for everybody else. We just got to make the plays, right? And as far as Jace being coming out the injury or the surgery, we don't. It's gonna. How much does he trust it?
Yeah.
right? I've never had a big knee injury, but my friends have, and the thing is what's getting the confidence back in it.
Yeah.
You know, the doctors will tell you, "Hey, you're good to go," but you don't have that confidence, in it, and so you kind of a little hesitant. So, and Jace last year, Jace was a very, very physical quarterback last year. Sometimes it's almost as if he was looking for the contact, and you want that in your quarterback to a certain extent. So, hopefully this year, he finds that confidence in his knee early, and we actually have a game plan that will allow him to show why he truly is one of the top quarterbacks in the nation.
Yep. Now I'm going to make a statement that uh, is going to be obvious to some and it's going to be bold to others. And that's this. As the offensive line goes, Lowndes will go this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether
Listen, we
it's
got
whether it's the passing game that Coach Carlton tries to implement, whether it's a ground and pound system, or protecting Jace in the passing game, whatever that offensive line does is what Lowndes is going to do this year.
and you're right. Like those first four games wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for the what did we call them last year? I forgot. What did we call it?
Pancake twins, no, the IHOP twins.
The IHOP twins. Yeah, the IHOP twins and the
Well, that was
last.
Corey and Eisenhower.
Yeah,
Corey
yeah.
has graduated.
I know we still got Eisenhower, and we got Cam Brown too. So you know
I read a stat over the offseason. You know how many pancake blocks Ben Corey had last year?
how many?
73.
Wow.
73 pancake blocks, and we lost that dude to graduation. So,
Yeah.
but we got another stud on the other side, the Abram Eisenhower.
Yeah.
You know,
And we got Cam Brown. Don't forget about Cam
Cam Brown.
Brown.
So, but we lost two great, really, really good offensive linemen in Markel Young and Ben Corey.
Hmm.
So it's obviously the next man up mentality is going to, ring very, very loudly. Uh, I don't know who the next two up are going to be, but we need them to develop very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's gonna be trial by fire. That is for certain. And I think that, and we also I don't know the status of Darren Neal either. We lost him to a knee injury, the other running back. So we got Danny Vaughn, we got who should is going to have to shoulder more of a load this year.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm looking for what I'm looking for is this offensive line just get out there and move people because that's what they're going to have to do. And but also I'm going to speak on behalf of Viking Nation when I say this. I'm hoping that we have some type of a quick passing game. That's what I want to see. I don't expect it to see it um, during the scrimmage because if you've been there, Adam Carter scrimmage, preseason games, it's been very pretty vanilla. However, I do want to see a quick passing game, some screen game. Get so Jace doesn't have to wait so long for the play to develop. He can get it out there fast. So
With another year of maturity, how big do you think Waylon Weidinger is going to factor into that passing game? Because last year we saw him; he was a master at getting open over the middle.
yeah, just got to hold on to it.
Yep, got to hold on
Uh,
to it. So he's matured a little bit. He's got another year under his belt. So I expect him to be a lot better in the receiving game. With that said, how much of a role you think he'll play?
well, last year he threw the first touchdown. He threw the first touchdown pass. So emergency QB, he's got that locked up. I think Weiling is going to be an intricate part of this offense, and here's why. I think he's gotten bigger. I think he's gotten faster, and I think he's gotten stronger. And I think he's over that
Yeah.
getting out there on Friday nights. I don't think the Friday night lights are going to bother him as much. I think he's going to be comfortable. If he's comfortable, you got a weapon. You got a weapon that's going to create a mismatch. He's faster than the linebackers that you're going to line up on him,
Yeah.
and he can get open. He can get open. Just got to put him in those positions. Now, a couple of those plays, he got lit up. I won't even lie, but testament to Mr. Weidinger, he got up and was ready for some more. So I think that you know, depending on how comfortable he is in the system, he should light it up.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me if he's our leading receiver this year. So
So, we saw two of the goals that Coach Carter said that he had. One of them is to win the region. Armand, let's be honest about it. If you
mhm,
want to win the region, you got to beat Valdosta and Colquitt. Last
got you.
couple of years we've had some couple of three-way ties, right? And we
Yeah,
lost them due to tiebreaker. So if you want to avoid a tiebreaker, you got to beat both of those guys.
yeah.
Does
And
that
we were
Lions offensive line have it in them to beat both of those defenses? Because both teams are going to have some really good defenses.
Yeah, and that's a tradition of Lions, not Lions, but Colquitt and Valdosta. They have a good defense year in, year out. And last year, I felt like we had a chance, right?
Yeah, man, I did too.
And we went. Now last year we went to Colquitt. Did we go to Colquitt? No, Colquitt came to us last year, and we just handled business. Got him out there pretty early. But I think that this year, I mean, those guys, they they haven't forgotten what happened over there at Cleveland Field, and I think every game, because it's not the last game this year. That's interesting. It's the week before Colquitt, so that's going to be interesting because I can't remember the last time Lions played Valdosta then called Colquitt. Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah,
So that's going to be really interesting. Can they keep that intensity up? How they respond to it? It's there's a lot that's going to go into those two games,
yeah,
and to be honest with you, those last two games are going to be what make or break our season.
yeah.
So, and if you're right, you want to win the region, you got to beat Valdosta, and you got to beat Colquitt County. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Absolutely. So we got a few minutes left in the show. So I wanted to get into the defense, but we'll save that for next week because there's a lot of question marks on that side of the ball, like we talked about before. So we'll start answering some of those details next week and what we would love to see. Because man, think about that. Next week's show, the very next day, we're gonna have some football.
I know, right? it's
Man,
been
I get so excited just thinking about it.
it's been a long time coming, man. It's been a long time coming, and I'm excited.
Yeah,
I am so excited about this season. Um, I really want to see because everything that's happened in the offseason, right?
yeah,
That's nothing but adversity. So we've seen this team come back, bounce back from adversity. These group of young men who are now seniors, we've seen them bounce back from adversity time and time again. I want to see how they start out, and I really believe that this team has enough talent to play on Thanksgiving and win on Thanksgiving. I truly believe this team has enough talent. I think the defense is good enough. I think uh, the skill the skill on offense is good enough.
yeah,
It's just that if the scheme going to allow them to thrive, and how are they going to hold up? You know, because the injury bug, and let me knock on some wood because I don't like to talk about it. But let's just say this: if they're able to stay healthy, if they're able to develop some depth in these first 5 6 weeks of the season,
yeah,
and and another thing, like we have the benefit, um, which hopefully doesn't become a detriment of playing the majority of our games right at home in the Concrete Palace. So
yeah. So, as we get ready to close out the show, a couple more things I want to talk about. So, one is we just got a text message from one of our super fans. You guys are probably missing a face on the screen because he's been with us for the last several years as a big pillar of the Viking Nation and what we do here on Thursday nights and quite frankly Friday nights as well. And we miss you, man. Chase Garnto, you know,
yes, sir. Miss you,
and
bro. Love you,
he's
bro.
still got he's still in this community. He's still around, and if you're close to the program, you know that uh, he made a decision that was in the best interest of his kid, Smash. transferring to Valwood. He's going to do some big things there. I wish him the very best of luck. We did the same thing when longtime Viking Tate Snellgrove transferred over to Valwood. So, the kid the kid Smash has put in some sweat, blood, and tears on plenty of Viking fields. So he's still a Viking to us. Chase is definitely still a Viking. He's just taking a step back from the show because we all agreed that it just didn't feel right with family playing at Valwood that he's on a show called the Viking Nation. But there we don't all is good as Chase likes to say, all is good at the Wood, all is good at the Viking Nation. We're all still friends. So we wish the Garntos the very best of seasons there at Valwood. And hopefully we'll get Chase back on the show one day when his Valwood adventures are over with.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna have to whenever we have a bye week. Don't be alarmed if you see us
Yeah,
over there at the Wood, checking them out and
that's
supporting
right.
Chase and Smash. Um, I love Chase like a brother. That's my brother, and he is family, and nothing but wish nothing but success for Smash. He's gonna. I got a feeling he's gonna do some big things
Yeah, I think
over there.
so. Yeah, I definitely think so. Last topic tonight is, a lot of people are, especially outsiders, looking into the program. Lowndes has gotten a lot of ridicule over the offseason about the schedule, especially the non-region part of the schedule. So we've tried to explain that during the spring football season when we did a couple of shows leading up to spring football. I'm not in love with the schedule, but I completely understand why Coach Carter and the football administration set up the schedule the way that they did. Like it or not, we are heading towards a new way that the GHSA is seeding playoff teams in the postseason, right? No longer is it the top four teams in a region get automatic bids into the playoffs. As a matter of fact, the only automatic bid that you get is if you win the region.
Win.
That's the only guarantee that you make the playoffs. The rest of it is based on the formula. And guys, that formula treats wins with a premium. So the way that the lounge schedule is set up is, if you go back and look at each team, they're not all 6A or 7A programs. They are middle of the road, middle class programs like class 4, class 5 programs, but they're quality programs within their class. And that's what you want in this particular type of formula. Will the GHSA change it in a couple of years? I think they're going to make some tweaks, but for the next 2 years, it is what it is. Now, here's the benefit of this soft schedule that we've got. We're going to be 6-0 going into region. Let's assume for a second that Lowndes finishes either 9-1 or 10-0, and even at worst 8-2. If you have an 8-2 record in the regular season, you're going to make a top 15 seeding out of this region. If you outright win the region, you're going to be in the top 5, probably in the top 2. Okay, at 10-0, you're probably going to be seated either number 1 in the state or number 2 in the state out of this region. Now, why does that is so important? Remember, one of the goals playing on Thanksgiving, if you are the number 1 or number 2 seed in the state, and every time you win, there is no more coin toss. You're going to host a home game in the next round of the playoffs. So if you're number 1 in the state, there's no other team that's going to beat you as far as seeding goes. So you keep winning, you keep hosting home games all the way to the state championship game. That's why that the schedule is the way that it is. Okay. So if this system were in place last year with last year's schedule, guys, we would have had probably 4, at least 3, possibly 4 home playoff games, and we would have hosted North Gwinnett at home in the quarterfinals instead of on the road in the second round. So that's why that the schedule is set up the way it is. Now, I don't necessarily like it, but I can understand why they set it up the way that they did. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you too, Larry. I'm not gonna repeat anything that you said, but yeah, I don't like the schedule. But what I do hope it does is just allow us to, like I said, build that
That's right.
quality depth.
Now,
That's the benefit of
Candace
this.
Murray's got an excellent point. You know, if you take a look at all the other schedules, all the other coaches basically have done the same thing because of that post season ranking formula. We got a bunch of soft schedules across the state. Now there are a handful of teams that have some excellent schedule. Thomas County Central's got a pretty good schedule. Lee County
Hmm.
got a pretty good schedule. Buford, really good schedule. So it does happen, but for the most part, about 75, 80% of teams out there have followed the same formula, and no one can blame these coaches because at the end of the day, they get graded on wins to keep their jobs, right?
Oh yeah. You know what? I just thought about something. If you want the ball in the fall, you got to win them all.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
That's what it
So,
is,
guys,
man.
stick with us. Be loyal to the community. Be loyal to the program. It. I'm going to speak from the heart. There are a number of you watching tonight that you don't like the direction of the program, but that's okay. I still welcome you as a fan. But I'm going to ask you now that the season is starting, put that stuff on the back burner. Swallow the pride a little bit. All this other stuff will play out. If it turns out that Coach Carter is as bad of a coach as you think that he is, that stuff will take care of itself. But what if he does turn this program around and we end up going to the semifinals or playing for the state championship? What I'm saying is, let's at least during the season all row in the same direction. Put the criticisms on hold for now. Now that the season is starting, show up to the games on Friday night, cheer as loud as you can. And the off season, we can argue again. Can we do that?
I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. And oh, also one other thing, because Candace reminded me of something. Listen, in I want to say October, November, Jalen playing at Memphis
Yeah,
State. They're going to be playing down there at South Florida in Tampa, which is only a 3 hour ride away. Right. So if you want to support one of your Viking Nation, you know, guys, go get down there. I know I'm doing everything I can to get down there. So yeah, that's one thing I did want to say.
absolutely. Well, listen, that's going to wrap it up for tonight's show. Listen, as always, God bless every single one of you. We all are part of the same Viking Nation community, and we love all you guys. We'll see you guys next week. God bless. And as always, go Vikings.
Go Vikings.